Hey there, in this video I'm going to show you how we scrape job boards, specifically LinkedIn jobs in this case, and actually find the right decision maker's email from there. So without further ado, let's get into the video. This will be a complete tutorial showing you how to scrape LinkedIn jobs, showing you how to use Clay and how to use Apollo for these specific purposes. This is something that we do automate completely ourselves internally, but I just wanted to show the manual approach of doing this so you'd be able to do it yourself if you wanted to. Awesome. So, as you know, we're leveraging LinkedIn Jobs for cold email. It's one of the best angles that we use all the time, just because we know it's sort of an indicator that that company is actively looking for help in that department, and we use it with our clients when there's an opportunity to replace that role with their services, or we previously ran this for recruiting agencies that specialized in, let's say, software roles. We were pitching those companies saying, hey, we know you have an open software developer role that we think we could fill. Mind if we have a chat? So, and just start the conversation from there. And then, so yeah, this is, as I mentioned before, this is something that is automated already, where you can get LinkedIn jobs scraped on a weekly basis, added into all the different tools that you need, and finally into your email sending tool without having to lift a finger, which is really, really great. Now going into the first part. So I just want to sort of put a quick disclaimer that this can be done with any job board. Like if you have an industry specific job board or you'd rather use Indeed for whatever reason, this can work. It's just sort of the scraping process is different, but the rest of the video still applies. So the first piece of this is actually building your Boolean search. So a couple disclaimers. You can't scrape, or sorry, when you do go in the sort of in LinkedIn jobs, you can't get more than 1,000 jobs to show up, even if you continue scrolling. So what we've done is narrow down that search. Since we primarily target US companies, we've generated all the URLs that we need to get every single state and sometimes cities, depending if the states are pretty big, just to get always under 1,000 new job postings on a weekly basis. This is what the URL looks like for US. So it's normal. The only sort of variable that you have to change is this roles section right here, United States, and then the GO ID, and then this TPR ID. This is for last week. If you did do in the filters that I'll show you in a little bit, if you selected the last month option, that would change, which you can also do if you want to do this on a monthly basis. Another bonus tip is most people, when they do build a job scraper like this, they only put in one role that they're looking for. For example, just like business development reps. An easy way to just get more from that one search is actually combining different titles. I'll show you how this works once we're actually building the URL right now, and why in some cases you can actually do more than 3. In this specific case, we can only do 3. So let's go right into it. So really the first step of this process would be heading over to LinkedIn Jobs, and just normally just doing it in your Google search. I'm just going straight to the link, just because it's easier for me. And then you would put in the location that you want, and then you'd start playing with, okay, I want the last week, and then you put in the titles, and you do have to put these quotation marks, because the way a Boolean search works is if it's within the quotation marks, it's exactly what, those are the exact words that you want it to come up with. And then we put or in between, so it's like business development rep or sales rep or all of these different options. And what actually happened here, right? So this is actually perfect. So what I previously had to use as an example in this video was actually this entire big Boolean search, right? But once you put this into the multiple searches, or sorry, like the multiple URLs, you actually run into the issue where it actually cuts off right here. So at B2B sales, right? And then you get nothing of the rest. What you would ultimately do if you were looking to do this would be testing all the different sort of like this fits completely in the URL. So I would do this, and then I'd find the other sort of 3 or 4 that I would want, create a different code here, and then just do this with multiple groups. And then that way you can get the entire search that you're looking for, but you do have to sort of bunch this down because this doesn't fit in every single URL. I won't be showing sort of what happens when that issue happens, but just believe me when I say that you want to sort of shorten it as much as possible. So what we've done here is we put in the titles that we know fit in our LinkedIn jobs search. And then we did put in this formula right here where it sort of converts all the quotation marks into this percentage 22, and then if it's in between percentage 20, it's just how the LinkedIn URL works. This was actually just taken from up here. So it's like I asked ChatGPT to analyze sort of the difference between, like if you look at the top here, like the difference between this output and just having the quotations, and asked it to sort of convert it itself. And then I came up with this Excel formula. And then I created a template here with every single location. So I broke it down into 53. So it's like some states, it's just I did multiple cities within that state, so it always works. So now the way that this works is you create a duplicate of these 53 URLs. You would copy this, you'd go in here, Command F, open this, and then what you're looking for is, I've set it up so it's just job titles every single time, replace it with this in this sheet, and then replace all 53. And then now I have every single search in the United States. And just a quick test to just show that it, place, just to make sure that it is pulling up different locations. We will do a quick test. So 57 results, and the location is Massachusetts, and then this one is 43 results and in Arizona. So we are looking good. You could check more, but I've done the troubleshooting enough. I just wanted to show that it does. You just want to make sure that it's pulling up different things. And yeah, so that is sort of the end of the creating the URLs. Now let's go to step 2, which is actually creating your bot. We use the tool called Octoparse. It's a web scraper. It works really well. We're able to use it for a lot of different tools. So now I will just give a quick sort of breakdown and tutorial on how to use that platform. All right. To make this work, you'll have to download Octoparse and, of course, sign up for their standard subscription. But then once you have that set up, you are ready to go. So what you'll do is you will create a new task, or like you'll just press this new button. I'm going to base it off sort of a template that I've already created, but you'll create new, and then you follow the steps that I'm about to cover. So you'll want to create a blank task. You'll head over here to the right, which is sort of the workflow section. You'll press add a step, and then you'll press loop. For the settings of the loop, you'll actually, this screen will show up. They'll ask you if you want to enter manually, import the file, import task, or batch generate. We will do enter manually. What we're inputting here is the 53 URLs right here. So what it does is really, once it's done going through one URL, it's going to go to the next one. So that's all that we're asking Octoparse to do in that first step. Then we do go to website, which is going to that website that we just called to, or that we put in our list. While building the scraper, you will have to log in into your LinkedIn. So the way to do that is you press browse. So this is to not create new steps in your workflow. Because if I did have the browse turned on, anything I press turns into, like, they're asking me, do you want, like, what part of the workflow do you want this to become? We don't want to do that. So we do browse. You'll log in with your URL and do everything like that. And I'll just do that super quickly just so we can continue on with the video. All right, perfect. I'm now logged in. I'm shown the first URL from that from those 53 links that I inputted. And then you'll see a page just like this. You do want to double check that past week is selected and that location is also sort of unique, just to make sure that the links did work out. You can double check also the search right up top or in this bubble. And then what you do here actually is one of the great features about Octoparse is you will just ask it to auto detect the web page. So what it'll do for you, I will do a quick demo, super quick, but it'll follow the steps that I already have in the workflow. It'll analyze, it'll scroll through the pages, it'll learn that it needs to paginate at the bottom. So it'll press the next page and then it'll scroll for you. So you just do this and then you create workflow. And then from there, you just go through a little bit of testing as well. There's other options to click on this card, for example, and like scrape this section here as well, or like sort of this about the company section as well. So there's a lot you can do in that way. But what we do is, because these job titles or these companies aren't necessarily in our ICP, we just scrape their titles and then we look up their websites based on these names. And then from there, continue refining our search, because a lot of these won't be good fits for us. Like TELUS is never a company that we would pitch. So you'll find a lot of like Agent Finder sounds like a recruiting agency. So this isn't like, that's not somebody we'd want to pitch in this particular case. So you'll want to remove companies that don't fit your ICP. And then once you are ready to go, what you're able to do is have this, like you can schedule runs for let's see, like on a weekly basis on Sundays, let's say, and then at midnight, and then you can get it to automatically export wherever you want it to go. So then from there, you can automatically sort of do the next steps of this flow. And just to show that it works, you'll come out of this sort of out of the builder screen, and then you'll come into this run screen, and let's just give it a couple seconds to work. Awesome. So it is now working. It took a little bit longer than expected just to start running. But since this is automated, it's not something you need to worry about. If this runs in the middle of the night, if it takes a little bit longer, like it's not an issue. So now it'll take its time to scrape all of the different job postings. And as you can see, it's like still the job titles that we were looking for, gives us the job URLs and the LinkedIn company URL, which is what we use to actually find the websites. I will stop this earlier than letting it run completely, but you get the gist of it. So we'll press stop right there. And we'll go ahead and export it onto my desktop, and then I'll show you what to do next. Awesome. Now that step 2 is complete, we've created our bot and we finished the scrape. The next part is enriching those data points with Clay. So in the first part of this workflow, what we have here is a table with the job title, job URL, company LinkedIn URL, all the same fields from that Octoparse scrape. The only things that we've added is a Claygent to find the LinkedIn domain. So it's like visit the LinkedIn URL, output their website, only output their website. And then if it can't find it, then we use the free Clearbit integration to find their domain based on their company name. So the way that this looks like here is, import, you'll go to import companies, you'll select your file from your desktop, and then you'll press continue. And then I've aligned it so like all the job titles are exactly the same, so I don't have to think about it. But you could also build your columns based, like having an empty table and then adding these new columns and just creating them automatically. And then just for the sake of this video, I won't run, but normally you would turn that on. So here we have the job titles, the actual link if we wanted to go take a look at that, and then we use this formula to clean the LinkedIn. So we just remove the about section, if there is one, and then it outputs, or sorry, it gets their company name with about, and then it actually throws them directly to here. So just so you can see, um, Square is that company, and then what we do for the domain is, let's just run a couple of these, is just so you can see the full workflow, is it will visit this and then it'll output the domain directly from that LinkedIn page. We could probably also see the recent LinkedIn page for Join Square states that their website is this, so the domain is this. And you can see that it costs almost nothing to do this. So that's fantastic for us. Let's say for whatever reason, maybe we find. I just want to quickly show you what the find domain part would look like if we couldn't find it here. Well, as you can see though, it's not running because we are finding the domains, and if it didn't run for whatever reason, uh, yeah, okay. So if this didn't find any results, then it would search it based on the company name. It is a little bit less accurate than, of course, going straight from their LinkedIn. Um, but it's a backup option that we have in case we need it. So what we would normally do now is run the whole thing, um, which let's do it, why not? So we'll let the whole thing run, and then I will show you what the next steps are from there. As well, another feature that I forgot to mention is the company name. So we actually have this on set up to automatically dedupe at the moment, just because there's a thing running, we can't do it, but I have it deduped, so if the same company name shows up, delete the other records. So you might remember we had around 140 rows that we scraped from the search, and now we're at 111, and that's the reason why. All right, you know what? It does seem like it is done being uh, processed. Okay, fantastic. So what we do now is we go to this master domain section, we scroll all the way down, copy it, and then what we do is we head into Apollo. So this is where we filter our search for whatever we're looking for. So first, to just import the companies that we want, we go to company, include list here, save and search. So 106 from the 111 that I'll just put my head up here at 111 that we had, and then you can continue doing your typical sort of searching. Like, let's say we want 1 to 50 employees. We want to make sure they're in the States, and then let's say we want them to be in, for this case, let's say a staffing firm, right? So one staffing firm from that fits our criteria. I just wanted to see how many. So let's say we just go bigger, like all staffing firms. This is what we would look like, and then we'd go into people, and then let's say we only wanted owner level, like owner, founder, C-suite. Then from there we have 31, and then we would follow the steps to export this on any tool of your preference. You might already have a scraper built, or you could use something like Export Apollo, where all you have to do is copy the URL that you have up here and go and paste it in their tool, and then they'll scrape all the leads for you at a relatively good price. So once you have that, you'll be given a lead list, and we can move on to part 2 of this entire thing. So the second part is actually finding the decision makers' emails. Apollo does provide emails, but it's never really super accurate. So this is the workflow that we use to sort of minimize expenses, but still get verified emails. So the sort of this clay table is this one right here. So this is what it looks like when you do get the lead. So you get the first name, last name, their full name, their title, their company, and then you do get an email attached to that account, and this is the Apollo email. They do give you like, is it verified, unverified, likely to engage, sort of their own data points in that sense. Not something that we base it on, but what we do is we do test these emails in our bouncer or in our bounce band tool to see that we did run it, and then we see they scored a 99, and we deliver when we do email them. So we will email that address. But let's say for whatever case, let's say for whatever case this didn't land, what we do is then we created this new table right here, retrying risky and undeliverable emails. We delete this, like whatever's in this column. I'll just give you a quick example, right? So let's say these were undeliverable or they were risky. We'd go here, delete, and then it would use this Prospero integration to find that person's email based on their domain and their name. All right, so we deleted these emails, then Prospero automatically ran, I believe found the exact same emails, and then is telling us that it is verified and we can deliver it. So that's sort of our simple workflow. Like we test the Apollo emails that were given just to see if they would work. If they don't work, then we delete them from here and give Prospero a chance to find the right emails. And then we get a bunch of other data points like their seniority, their departments, phone numbers, employee count, domains, LinkedIn, all their socials, location, funding, and the technologies that are present on their website, and a short SEO description. So we get all that data. There's so many different things you can do for personalization, but this is the bare bones of just finding their email. From here, what we would normally do is create new lines, typically AI generated, to just make the conversation more relevant, to search their website and find things from there that are personalized. But that is just how we would find the emails. I just wanted to, for part 3, just give you some copy that you can use that we've tested with ourselves and clients, that we've seen good results with, that you can use while sort of using this sort of as a signal. So, hey, first name, so you're looking for a great, in our case, right? Like looking for a great. Another piece that I forgot to mention is you will have to go into add columns here, and you will have to link the first table into here. But what you do is you domain match. So if this domain is present in the other table, import the sort of the links that you need. So you're looking for a great business development associate. I've helped case study 1 and 2. In this case, maybe not generate, but like if we were a recruiting agency, we would want to say like, hey, we helped fill a role like this, and this person's now doing X, Y, and Z. But in this specific case, as an agency, we help them generate, let's say, 12 leads in whatever time frame without hiring a full-time title. And you can play with this, of course. Like, you don't have to call this out at the beginning. Like, we can just say this and sort of make it appear like it's a well-timed email without saying, hey, I know you're looking for this position, let me fill it for you, for example. And then would it make sense to connect? Another variant that I wanted to give you guys is, hey, first name, I've talked to a few. This would be sort of founders or like whatever the sort of the ICP lead that you're looking for in the recruiting space, and many of them are struggling to pain point that you solve. Same case for the company name, and then in the PS line you mentioned that job title. It's like, hey, notice that you like saw your LinkedIn post about hiring a great X, Y, and Z. How's the search going? And then the way the variant 2 works, it's a 1-2 punch sort of email, where in the first email you open up a conversation just saying, hey, are you guys dealing with this problem? You may get a yes, you may get a no, you may get no reply. And then 3 days later you send out message 2, where the reason I asked is because we've helped similar company. You could mention your case study in the same format here, and want to do the same for you, and then include a risk reversal. And then in this case, I just said, hey, can I send a 5-minute loom as the call to action? So these are 2 options that you have, and there's so many others and creative ways to do this. Just wanted to give you some ideas for where to start if you were to scrape job boards and then send an email. Next up, I just want to go over the math behind doing something like this and getting it automated. Like in this specific example, we'll assume we only email 2 decision makers per company. So that might be a hiring manager or senior executives or CEOs, founders at each company. Let's assume that for whatever roles that you're looking for, there's about 3,500 new roles posted every month. Here's the sort of numbers that you can expect from doing something like that. So you'd be sending 7,000 emails a month at a 0.5 email to booked call ratio or rate. You would get 35 meetings. And then if you only closed at 20%, that would be 7 new clients for you every single month. So by setting up this automation, you're sort of getting ahead of the curve by always having a lead flow of relevant leads that are at least interested in your services, and that you can sort of identify you could use the hiring signal as a sign that they're growing, because you don't hire unless you're growing, and then so there's a lot of ways you can take this. Just wanted to show this entire demo, and I hope you found it useful. And that's it for this video. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments. I'm happy to sort of provide guidance, like with the spreadsheet, if there's any issues here with the clay tables, with Octoparse as well. Let me know if you have any questions. And thank you for watching this video. Have a good one.